Alright, so this is their example to explain how parameters are passed in C. So they have 2 apples, 3 oranges, and 1 pear. They are declaring these as integer values. So, you know, if I was going to be really specific and picky, I would say, oh, this should be count of apple. Because it's not just, you know, what is an integer apple? Well, I don't know what that is. Count of apples equals 2, count of oranges equals 3, count of pears equals 1. Apples are my favorite fruit. My favorite fruit is a pointer to another variable or another value stored in memory. And so my favorite fruit does not have its own value. It is not equal to 2. It is equal to the apple. This makes apple a pointer to the number stored in 2. So my favorite fruit is pointing to int apple, like whatever number happens to be in there. So then we have void no eat fruit, and it takes in int fruit. Does not work, fruit is copy. So yeah, because it's taking in an integer here, it's actually declaring a new integer. It's not referring to any existing integer. When someone calls no eat fruit and passes in apple, they're gonna pass in 2. But this fruit int is going to be a copy of that number 2. So then we decrement that 2 down to 1, but that doesn't change anything. The value stored in apple is still 2. This has not been modified. It was copied into here. That copy was modified. Then that copy went away because the function ended. But if we declare an eat fruit function that takes in a pointer to an integer, we can pass in the pointer to the apple. Here, fruit is a copy, but asterisk fruit refers to the original object. And so when we call eat fruit and pass in and apple, a pointer to apple, we're passing in here the pointer to the number 2. We're not passing in 2 itself. So then we dereference the pointer. We say from that favorite fruit, from that apple, what is the number? Now let's get that number. Oh, that number is 2? Turn that number down. And because we're doing it in the reference, in the dereferenced pointer, that actually modifies the 2 that we had declared up here. Int apple is no longer 2. It has now been changed down to 1 because we passed in a reference to its pointer, and this dereferenced that pointer and decremented the value stored under that pointer. And then if we do it again, we can pass in my favorite fruit. Because if we remember, we stored the pointer to apple in my favorite fruit. So these are basically the same command that we're doing twice. One, we're passing in the pointer to apple. One, we're pointing in whatever is stored under my favorite fruit, which happens to be the pointer to apple. So in both cases, we're decrementing the same number. So now that we have eaten 2 apples, apple is 0. But let's change my mind. Now I like oranges. So there's a function here called no change my mind, because it doesn't actually work. It takes in a pointer to favorite, the int favorite, but it sets that favorite equal to a pointer to orange, and favorite is a copy. Favorite is actually a copy of the pointer, because what they're doing here is declaring a new integer pointer, also called favorite. Well, called favorite, because the other one was called my favorite fruit. But when they call no change my mind and pass in my favorite fruit, like they pass in this pointer, but that gets copied into this parameter. And so when this parameter changes to use a pointer to orange, that doesn't actually change the original pointer. I still like apples, LOL. And so then we have a functioning change my mind, which takes a pointer to a pointer. That way we can dereference the pointer to get the actual original pointer, my favorite fruit, and set its value to a pointer to orange. So when we call change my mind and pass in a pointer to our pointer, it dereferences that pointer, sets its new value equal to a pointer to orange, and so now my favorite fruit is orange.